Hey everyone, this is Stephanie O'Brien. Welcome to Course Creation Made Easy. If you want to design an entire group coaching program in as little as an hour and learn how to launch it quickly and easily in less than 1 month, you're in the right place. So you probably know what it's like to stare at a blank screen, knowing you have all this information in your head, but not sure how to get it out onto the screen, not sure how to organize it in a way that makes it really easy for your clients to follow it from where they are to where they want to be. I know that feeling too. I'm a writer. I have been for most of my life. In fact, I wrote my first full-length novel when I was just 12 years old. It was a terrible novel, but it was still a full-length novel. I've since gone on to write 14 different novels, 4 of which adult me by my adult me standards deemed good enough to self-publish. So I have a lot of experience with creating a lot of content and with organizing a huge amount of information into an easy to follow, compelling step-by-step flow. And so when I got into coaching, I just fell in love with coaching. Mom got into life coaching first, and I actually followed her into that, which is how I got introduced to this wonderful field. I just fell in love with people like you and missions like yours, because you're on a mission to help people to live their best lives, to live your own best life, to create a life where you have the time freedom to do what you want, the wealth to buy what you want, and to support the people and causes that you believe in, and a mission to help other people to do the same thing, whether it's in their finances, their health, their relationships, whatever it is. You have an amazing mission. I want to help you to share your expertise with as many people as possible who need it, so you can maximize your impact and transform more lives. So for this masterclass, I encourage you to have a text processor ready, or at least a notepad, because I'm going to walk you through my formula for outlining your group coaching program. So do you have your text processor ready? Let's get started. So step 1 in this formula is listing all the steps that your clients are going to go through in the order in which they'll need to go through them. So here's an example from my own work. And when you're creating a coaching program, the first thing you need to do is choose a topic. Then you need to decide what all information you're going to put in the program and organize it into an easy to follow step-by-step flow. So the third thing you need to do is flesh out that information into easy to follow instructions for your clients. You also need to motivate your clients to actually consume and apply those instructions. And you need to help the clients understand when and how to use your instructions so they are not just, putting a square peg in a round hole. Or if you're a relationship coach, to give you another example, let's say you're helping a man to meet and marry the woman of his dreams. You need to help this person to figure out what kind of woman he wants to meet, what are the traits that he's actually looking for? Not just the traits society tells him to look for, but what does he actually want? Where can he find this kind of person? How to make time in his schedule to go to the places where he's likely to meet such people? How to approach these people? And actually before that, how to have the mindset required to actually be attractive and to be the best version of himself, how to approach these people. So you just walk through. So for this first step, just walk yourself through your client's journey. If you were going to try to accomplish what they're accomplishing, or if you were walking somebody through the process, what is the first, second, third, etc. thing they'd need to do? Now, this is just going to be a broad, high-level list. In this step, you're not going into the details of how they do each thing. You're just listing out all the steps so that you have a clear idea of what all content you need to include in your program. Now, I know it can be tempting to try and stuff your program with a lot of information to make it as valuable as humanly possible. Do not fall into this temptation. I've personally been in a coaching program where they promised me one result and then had a crap ton of information on a completely different topic. And I didn't feel like I got more value. I felt like I overpaid for a lot of stuff that wasn't applicable to me. So only focus on the steps that are actually required to get the specific goal that you promised or to solve the problem you promised to solve. Okay, so once you've made that list, your next step is to look at the first step and then break it down into the specific actions people need to take in order to complete that step. So I'll use one of the things from my list, choosing a topic as an example here. To choose the topic of the program, you need to determine which topics you have expertise in, then narrow it down. Which topics do you know for a fact you can create great results in? Which of those topics do your clients want? In my coaching, I share several additional exercises people can use if they're unsure which topic to choose, because you probably have several different areas of expertise, but you don't want to stuff them all into a single program. But for now, I think you get the point. You just need to take one of these steps in your process and break it down into all the different steps people need to take to finish that or to do that step. Once again, for the relationship coach, in the process of figuring out who they want to be with for the rest of their lives. They might do things like think about what kind of people they already have in their lives that make them happy. What is it that attracted them to the people they've been attracted to in the past? Did those traits end up being good for them in the long run, or is it something that briefly attracted them or that ended up making them unhappy later? So yeah, take that first step and just break it down into all the little actions that a person needs to do in order to complete that step. And if necessary, you might even need to take this step and break it down into further sub-steps. So for example, if you're choosing the topic of your coaching program, and then you're figuring out which of these topics your clients want, if I was going to walk you through that, I'd need to break that down into further steps, like polling your community to see what your actual audience says, because anybody can take an educated guess, but the actual feedback from your community will give you solid data. Doing market research calls, noticing what people already ask you for advice about. That's another piece of solid data about what you're already known as an expert in. And for the relationship coach, you'd also need to break. You also need to break each step down further. So let's say they're thinking about the traits that made them happy briefly, or that attracted them briefly, and then turned out to not be something they'd want. Another step, breaking that down into further steps might look like them looking at their past and seeing why do these things attract them? Is it good experiences in their past that led them to be attracted to this? So yeah, in summary of those first two steps, you make a list of all the steps your clients go through, take one of those steps, break it down into further steps so that they know all the different things they need to do to complete the first step. And then if any of those sub-steps needs additional breaking it down, break it down further. Just break it down as much as you need to so that they know every single individual action they need to take and how to take it. So speaking of how to take it, I want to now share with you the 4 elements that I recommend adding to every lesson to make sure that people understand exactly how to implement your advice for the best possible outcome. Because when we're experts in our field, it is so easy to assume that other people understand what we're saying and that they know how to do each step, when in reality, they're starting at a much earlier stage in their journey than we are. So the knowledge we take for granted is something they don't have. So by using these 4 elements I'm about to share, you can help to ensure that people have all the information they need to actually implement your advice correctly and to get results. So element 1 is motivation. What is this? You start by telling them, what is this step or sub-step and why do they need it? So give them context, because when people understand the context of why they're doing something, they're better equipped to implement it in the spirit in which it's intended, instead of just doing a rote repetition that may not exactly apply correctly to their unique situation. And when they have that context and they understand why they're doing what they're doing, it gives them more motivation to actually implement it, instead of just feeling like you're telling them to do something just because I told you so. They're saying, oh, I need to do this because here's the result it'll get me. And then they're motivated to actually do it. Now, that way they're more likely to get results instead of just doing it from rote repetition, not understanding why, not being motivated to do it, not getting results, and then blaming you for it. And so when you're explaining the context and why they need to do it, focus on the results. If the step is really self-explanatory, you might be able to skip it. But if the clients might say, oh, that sounds like too much work, I'm not sure why this step is necessary, I think I might already know how to do this, when they might actually not. I don't understand why I need to do this, or I don't understand why I have to take this step like this. If there's any risk that your clients might say something like that, then I definitely recommend explaining to them what the step is and why they need to do it the way you recommend. What are the pitfalls that you're helping them to avoid? What are the best reasons why this method of doing it works? So another element, element 2, is when and how to use it. So once you've explained what the sub-step is, explain to them what situations would they use it in. If you're giving them a script, what situations would they use that script in? If it's a mindset exercise, what situations is this mindset exercise applicable? If it's something in their diet, something in their lifestyle, what situations indicate that this is a good time to use these methods? And what are the principles behind it, or the reasons why it works the way it does? If you haven't already explained that, make sure they understand why this particular method is better than the other methods they might be considering. Another one is, what are some of the pitfalls or common mistakes that people often run into? If you frequently see people making a specific mistake in the process of implementing this advice, then make sure that you understand, that you explain to them, here's this mistake, here's why people make this mistake, here's why it's a mistake, don't do it. And what are some of the best practices, the very best, most optimal ways that people can implement this step? If there are nuances to it that people often miss, if there are elements to it that they might not think to do on their own, if there are ways that you found that have gotten the best results, include that in your instructions. And perhaps most importantly, what are some examples of people using it? The human brain runs on stories. We're most wired to process information and to act on it and believe it and feel compelled by it when it's in story form. And think of the statistics for or you may have heard the saying, a death is a tragedy, a million is a statistic. It's because one death probably has a story attached to it. It helps us contextualize it and really understand the emotions, the importance, the person behind it, whereas a million is just a number. So that's an example of how the human brain is just wired to feel motivated and compelled by stories and to be able to use them to contextualize things that it might not otherwise fully process. It'll also help them to really picture how they could implement it in their own life, having that step-by-step picture of what does this actually look like in practice. I'm going to take a quick drink. Now, element 3, this is a really important one, is a specific exercise that people can use to implement your advice. Don't just tell them what to do, tell them exactly how to do it. Walk them through it step by step. Like imagine they were an alien who had never even heard of your field of expertise before. Now, obviously, you don't want to be condescending, but you do want to be thorough. Give them a specific exercise and walk them through every single motion of this exercise so they know exactly how to implement it. If you have any bonuses that come with the course, like scripts, recipes, templates, things where you've already done some of the work for them and they have that example to draw upon and use and possibly tweak to suit their own needs, that's a really helpful thing, though. If you do give them something that they can tweak to suit their own needs, make sure that they have the context required to do so effectively instead of accidentally sabotaging its effectiveness in the process of changing it. And element 4 is integrating earlier lessons into the current lesson, because let's face it, when people go through a coaching program, it's really easy for them to feel like they're drinking out of a fire hose. So much information coming in, and by the time you get to lesson 5, they might very well have forgotten some of lesson 1. So it's a good idea to periodically circle back and integrate information from earlier lessons into the current lesson, and just to make sure that they have a good reminder now and then of what they've already learned. I'm going to give you an example right now by giving you a quick recap. So the formula that you're learning to create your group coaching program, so far it includes creating a rough outline of just all the big, broad topics that are big, broad steps that go into the process of going from where the client is now to where the client wants to be. Then it's taking each step 2 is taking each of those steps and breaking it down into sub-steps. So you have a list of all the specific actions people need to take in order to get that result. And then if they need a further explanation of any of those steps, if you're not 100% sure that they'll know exactly how to do it, the next step is to break it down even further to make sure that you've broken it down into every single little action that they need to take. So they're never left saying, okay, I know what to do, but how do I do it? And then, of course, the next step is to add the 4 elements, an explanation of what the step is and why they need it so they're motivated to use it, an explanation of when and how to use the sub-step, and a specific exercise for implementing it, and then a recap or reminder now and then to make sure that they understand and remember what all they're supposed to do. So as you're going through this exercise and as you're looking at this list of all the steps and then break it down into sub-steps, one thing I want you to notice is just how enormous your field of expertise actually is. Because it's so easy for coaches to fall into imposter syndrome, especially if you're early on or if you've been working at this for a while, but you haven't gotten the success you wanted as fast as you wanted it. And it's easy to compare yourself to people who got really fast success or to well-established 6-figure gurus and say, oh, am I ever going to be anywhere near as good as them? Why would my clients choose me over them? Well, just look at what you just wrote down. You've got all these different things that your clients need to do and all these details that how to, all these details about how to do it. And that is a huge amount of information that your clients might not have. You don't want to be comparing yourself to all these gurus and all these other coaches. They're on a different journey and they have a different coaching style, which might not be a good fit for your target audience. The important thing is, what do you know that your target audience doesn't know? What do you know that they need to know in order to live the life they want? In the process of going through this formula, you are getting the answer, what do I know that they don't know, right there in black and white in extensive detail. Plus, it's also good for your social media marketing and creating a newsletter, because now that you've got all these details about the topics you know written down, well, you've got a whole bunch of topics that you can talk about in your content marketing. Just take one of those topics and do a quick social media post. Hey, here's one thing people struggle with, or here's a step that you need to take to get the result you want. Here's how to take it. You want the rest of the steps? Here's my coaching program, or here's my masterclass. So those are two additional benefits to going through this formula, is beating imposter syndrome and having a crap ton of content that you can share with your audience. One benefit it unfortunately does not bring is making your eyes stop itching. So ill-timed. So now you have the formula to quickly and easily create design all the content for your coaching program. You know how to make all the steps you need, how to break those steps down to easily actionable lessons, and how to beat imposter syndrome and get a lot of content that you can use to help direct people to this program. So what are your next steps? To start with, calendar time for your next steps. If you don't get it in your calendar or in some sort of to-do list or something, if you just set aside for an intangible someday is a day that tends not to come. So put it in a specific time in your calendar, like for example, from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock on Friday, I'm going to write down all the steps in my lesson and flesh them out as much as I can. From 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock on Monday, I'm going to write down all the sub-steps that go into each step. Yeah, that's a bad example. Like depending on how fast you go, like I said, when I was first inviting you to this, you can get all this done in 1 hour, but if you wind up going slower than expected, if you get distracted, if you have a really big, long program that has a lot of additional info, you might want to take additional time for it. But yeah, sorry, I'm starting to ramble. I'm a little bit brain foggy today, in case you couldn't tell. Anyway, the point is, you need to calendar a specific time for it. So make sure that you have a specific time, from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock on Friday, I'm going to write down all these steps, I'm going to flesh them out into sub-steps, and I'm going to add all these elements to them. And then the next step, once you've written down this outline of your program, you need to decide how you want to deliver it. Now, if you want to get it delivered as fast as possible, if you want to get it out and launched within 1 month, the fastest way to do that is basically the way I'm doing this. So I've actually got a document right here on my monitor where I've got a whole bunch of bullet points. That way, if I need to remind myself what I need to talk about next, all I have to do is really briefly glance down and glance back up and just see the line where it says, here's the topic I'm going to talk about next. And then you just deliver it, talking head style. So after you take about an hour or so to write down all the steps, sub-steps, and add the elements, you can just basically turn that into a document with a bunch of bullet points and then deliver it talking head style. And heck, if you really buckle down and focus on it, you can have this pretty much launch ready within a week. You just make that bullet list and be prepared to talk off of it. And of course, later on, you can add slides, you can add bonuses, you can add additional resources, and you can flesh it out as much as you want to afterward. But this is how to get this launched in as little as 1 month or less. You may have heard the term MVP, minimum viable product. That's how you make your MVP. So how about you've got this formula? You've got all you need to at least make your MVP, but you might want to take it a step further than that, or you might have some additional questions in order to create that MVP. So for example, you might need help to choose your topic. If you've got a bunch of different areas of expertise, you might need somebody to help you to determine which topic is the most interesting for your clients. How do you describe that topic in a way that really makes them see, oh yeah, this is something I definitely need to buy right now? You need help with that, choosing a topic, or you might need help to pick the best delivery method for you and your clients. Because for some people, that'll be purely group coaching, doing calls that have a group of people on the call. For some people, the best way to do this might be one-on-one calls. it's less leveraged, but and you can serve fewer people in the number of hours. But on the other hand, it also has more privacy and gives you the ability to take a deeper dive into your client's situation. For some, it'll be a hybrid of both. For some, it'll be something else entirely. So another thing that I can help people with is choosing the right delivery method for your client's needs and for the lifestyle you want to create. I also can help you to use bonuses to maximize the value and sales of your coaching program, because bonuses, things that you can use to do some of the client's work for them, to make it easier for them to get the maximum results in the minimum amount of time. They can use to cut down on their learning curve. Those can take a program from, oh, that's really useful, so holy crap, I'd be brain dead to miss out on this. I also help you to manage your group coaching calls, because one of the challenges some coaches run into is that they start to, I ask people, do you need to coach on anything, or do you have any questions? And then they sit there and get dead air, and it's awkward. Or if people are too engaged, you might get a lot of chaos with people talking over each other. So I can help you to manage your coaching calls in a way that's engaged and productive and gives people the focused attention that they need to get the best results, while also enabling you to serve people in groups and to help them benefit from being in a group and having that supportive community. Another pitfall that coaches sometimes run into is using tech. You might not know how to set up the tech for your delivering your group coaching program. Or you might not know how to describe your coaching program in a way that makes it really irresistible to your ideal clients, or how to choose a price that gives great value to you and to the people who are thinking of signing up. You want to get paid well, but you also want to make your clients think, oh, wow, this is an amazing deal. And of course, another thing that you can do that I can help you with is adding an upsell. And that way, you can start off your clients on their journey with one, signature entry-level program, and then if they want to, instead of just letting them go off on their way and not get any further help afterward, you can tell them, hey, I just helped you with this step in the program, or this step in your journey. Here's how to take the next step in your journey and to get even bigger, better results. And that way you can continue your relationship with them, you can help them get even bigger and better results, and you can make more money. So if you want help with any of that, from choosing a topic to creating bonuses, managing group calls, adding an upsell, any of that, then I'd be happy to help you further in my 1-month program builder course. So let's look at what you're going to get if you join this 1-month program builder course. I'm just going to share my screen real quick and let you take a look. So I hope you can all share my screen. If you're ready to turn your expertise into a life-changing coaching program, then I'll be happy to see you in this coaching program. In this program, what you're going to get is weekly 1-hour coaching calls with me for 3 months. That alone is a $2,400 value. Oops, don't need that pop up. Now you might be wondering, why 3 months if this is 1-month program builder? Well, let's face it, life happens. Sometimes we just don't have the ability or the desire to focus exclusively on one thing for the period of time it takes to get it done in 1 month. You might already have obligations. So I give you 3 months of support just to make sure that even if life gets in the way, you'll still have all the support you need to get the program created and launched. You'll also get my 1-month program builder ebook and coaching program template, so you can have step-by-step instructions at your fingertips anytime you want them, as well as a fill-in-the-blanks template that you can use to create your program more quickly and easily. And you'll get my How to Make Your Course More Valuable by Adding Bonuses mini course, a $400 value. And I will help you to create those bonuses I mentioned that make it really easy for people to say yes to your coaching program, and then make it a lot easier for people to get results from your coaching program. So all in all, that's over $2,800 worth of value. And you can get it all for just $1,500. That's a $1,300 discount. Now this price will be going up to $2,000 on Friday, November 3rd. So you've got a week to think about this, act on it, to have a conversation with me about it. If you want to save $500, be sure to take advantage of this fast action pricing. And after you make the purchase, you'll receive an email asking what times and dates work best for you to attend the group calls, because I want to make sure that these calls are as easy as possible for everybody to attend. I want to make sure that this is as convenient as possible for you and your schedule. So if you're ready to sign up for this, just click this blue Sign Me Up button right here. But if you need some more info before you decide, I'll be happy to get on a call with you. I can give you a free consultation to help you decide if this program is the right next step for you, or if you need a different type of help to reach your goals. But during this call, we'll discuss your goals, your challenges, your needs, and I'll help you to determine how you can reach those goals as quickly and easily as possible. So to book your call, just click a link that's going to be on this page. Click a link to the calendar. I'm going to put this link in the call chat right now just to make sure that everybody has it. So there we go, it's in the chat. And just click through this page and then click this link to get access to my calendar and pick a time that works for you. Now, when we have this call, please make sure that all the decision makers will be there, because we don't want a situation where I give you all the information, you're excited, you're ready to get going, but you need to ask your spouse. And of course, your spouse doesn't have all the information and they veto something that you want. So make sure that all the decision makers will be there so that everyone can get the info they need to make an informed decision. And if you can't find a time that fits your schedule, make sure to contact me and we'll find a time that works for everyone. And of course, you don't just want to take my word for it, because, the best people to tell you about this is people who have already been helped by me, people who have already experienced this. So instead of just asking you to take my word that I'm the best person to help you, I'm going to call in Sarah Garrison, who left me this lovely testimonial.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Stephanie O'Brien. When I booked a call with her, I was working on outlining a coaching program that I was putting together. And I wasn't sure on the content that I had created. There were gaps in the program and I wasn't sure how to fill them. And Stephanie, like literally within the first 10 minutes of that call, Stephanie helped me figure out how to fill in those gaps in a way that was meaningful to my students, that helped really solidify the teaching and really helped them start getting results right away. She also gave me advice on how I can help my potential clients to better understand what I'm offering and how to help my current students get their questions answered faster. It was a phenomenal coaching call. I highly recommend, if you haven't talked to Stephanie about your program, highly recommend it. She has got so many tips and tricks in her back pocket. I don't even know where to start. So give her a call, reach out to her. Highly, highly recommend her.
Oh, thank you so much to Sarah for giving me that lovely testimonial. I've got a couple more down here. Felice said, 1 month program builder makes it easy to turn your knowledge into a coaching program. Stephanie gives clear, actionable strategies for every step of the process, and she also provides tools the reader can use to tailor the program they create to their ideal audience and lifestyle. And this review's about the book, but while he was using this book, he always knew which step to take next, exactly how to take it, so he could create his program without any guesswork or wasted time. So if you're thinking of turning your expertise into a curriculum, you can save yourself a lot of time and effort by working with me. And Janine Shapiro had a similar experience. She wanted to serve more people in less time by doing group sessions, but she wasn't sure how to make that happen or how to create the program and promote it for maximum results. So through my step-by-step questionnaires, guides, and walkthroughs, I made it easy for her to design a great coaching program in less time than she thought it would take, and to figure out exactly what components she needed for her sales funnel so she could proceed with clarity and confidence. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen now. There we go. So I hope that helps you to make an informed decision about whether or not this is the right next step for you. Once again, if you have any further questions, if you need to better understand what this coaching program entails, what it would look like for you, whether or not it's a good fit for you, by all means, please reach out and schedule a free consultation with me. I'll be happy to help you out. And once again, this fast action pricing will end on Friday the 3rd. So I want to make sure that you get the chance to take advantage of it if this is a good fit for you. So yeah, make sure to check out that page, schedule a coaching call or a consultation call. I look forward to working with you. In the meantime, have an amazing day.